like science.
I like science.
I like science.
It doesn't matter if you're scratching your head, Dave, because no one can see you. It's an audio podcast.
Science.
In podcast, nobody can hear you scratch your head. I'm pretty sure it's so close to the microphone. People did hear.
I don't think so. I didn't hear you.
All right. It's like
So-
ASMR.
I can't hear anything.
Well, when I hear this back, I'll know if it's ASMR or not because I experience ASMR. So
Yes. I do not. I do not.
autonomic median sensory response, I think that's called.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have different things.
Yeah. Do you get frisson when you hear really interesting parts
Yes.
of music where you get the
Yep.
goosebumps on your skin?
That's
I think
me.
the two are related because they're very similar sensations, and I get both.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not goosebumps just like on my arms and stuff. It's like on my scalp.
Oh yeah, it's the chill. It's what the Morbid podcast calls the WOM.
Mm,
Yep, just
yeah.
this feeling, this wave.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like my scalp is tightening and then
Mhm.
expanding.
It's similar to ASMR. The tingles.
Yep.
Yep.
I love giving you the
The
tingles.
tingles. I'm giving you the tingles, those of you that have ASMR. If you can hear this. Your settings must be such that it clips either anything that's too quiet or too loud.
That's weird. I don't know what that setting would be, frankly.
Yeah.
Um,
Because if you laugh,
weird.
sometimes it cuts it because you're laughing loudly.
Hmm.
Or when you're ranting, it'll cut it out. Or you're
Well.
over exuberant. Well, not over exuberant, but just exuberant.
But that's very frustrating. I don't know what that is because noise removal is on. That's the default, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's noise removal.
No, probably not.
So audio settings.
Oh, no, it might be
Those.
anti-clipping or something like that. Let's see.
Mm,
One of the general things.
mm.
Video and effects, audio,
Yeah, I'm looking at
noise
audio. and
removal,
I don't
original
see
sound
anything
for musicians, live performance, sync buttons on AirPods. Yeah, I don't really see a setting for clipping.
there. Yeah, whatever.
Spatial audio. Voices will sound like they're coming from each person's position on the screen. That would
That's
be
weird.
annoying.
I don't like that.
No, that would
I like
suck
that.
because then it'd be
Mhm.
like one of us would be in one ear, one of us would be in the other, and that would be very
Yeah.
annoying.
We don't want that.
Nope.
So, all right. Well, let's toss aside the audio settings and
Bye
get
audio settings.
started.
Go over there.
Yeah.
Go
Go
in the corner.
fuck yourself, audio settings. What good are you anyway?
You've been bad. It's time out for the audio settings. Go sit on the shame step.
Next time I get excitable, I'm just gonna pull back like this, and that way, if I'm saying a lot of loud things,
Brandy's at the bottom of a well. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, 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 hello.
well, it's better if I'm talking like this from that distance, right?
Yep. It's
So
like
there you
you're
go.
in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, that's
Don't mind me.
sorry, what that reminds me of is totally unrelated.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, when we were kids, we had this Sesame Street sing-along thing. Actually, we had a couple of them, two different cassette tapes, and one of them is Bert being trapped in the bath because
Right.
Ernie has decided that he's going to have a sing-along, and he's invited a ton of people, and so they'll just keep coming into the bathroom while he just wants someone to give him a towel so he can get out of the tub
Mhm.
and get dressed again. Yeah, it's like, oh, great acoustics in here. It's so funny. Anyway. Okay, so today, this
Right.
week,
Yes. Yes.
now at this time, the
Right.
sound of thunder. Sound of thunder.
The sound of thunder.
Yeah, Star Trek Discovery, season 2, episode 6. We do get a pretty hefty recap simply because this season is, well, Discovery in general is very what is the word for it when it's like
no
one story runs into another and it's not
long
episodic?
form narrative.
Not really that.
It's not episodic. It's well, that's the way I understand it, as
It's-
long form narrative. It's continuous. It's
It's an arc. It's the whole
yeah,
season
it's
is
an
its own
arc.
arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a narrative.
Yeah.
It's a continuation. It's in installments,
Yep.
chapters.
Yep. Okay. So what we get in that particular
Serial.
recap, serial, there you go.
Yeah.
It's serialized instead of
Episodic.
episodic. There it
Right.
is. Thank you. Thank you. I
You're
knew there was
you're
a
welcome. I knew
specific
you were
word
looking
for
for
it.
a specific one word way to describe it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
serialized.
series. It's serial.
Yep. So, the most important things to touch upon is Culber's back from the dead.
Yeah, it's
Um,
like the writers went, oh, we fell into the kill your gays trope, so we better fix that.
well, see, and that's the thing. I think the people who came on board after that particular point in season one
Hmm.
were the ones to come around and say, no, this could be more interesting. Let's bring this guy back. But how do we do that?
Yeah.
And involving the mycelial network,
Hmm.
um, genius, frankly.
Yeah,
Because,
it does have implications of an afterlife too. Is like if you die and your consciousness leaves your body, does your consciousness travel through the mycelial network and where's it going? Is
yeah,
it being stored there?
who knows?
What is the connection? And it's something that never gets fully explored, but does everybody's consciousness after
No, no,
death
no,
go to the
no,
mycelial network?
no. The
And why
reason
in
that
this instance does it?
no, it because of Stamets.
But
When we get
mm,
the actual recap of what happened, Hugh was already dead, but he
right.
kissed him, and bodily fluids
Right.
connected, and yeah. Anyway, we'll just go with that
So
because
through
basically,
Stamets, the
yeah, because
DNA of
he's got tardigrade
Culber
DNA.
went to the mycelial network because of the mycelial jump.
Hmm.
And that's how they were able to rebirth him somehow.
Yeah, well,
But why
that's the
doesn't
thing,
a parallel Stamets appear in the mycelial network?
because he's not dead.
Okay, that's specific. And consciousness can exist apart from your body, which it's all very
Don't read
strange.
too much into it, Dave. The long and short of it is we don't know what happens after we die. Yes, there are people who think that they know what happens, but we don't really know. We don't.
Yeah,
So
it's
just let it
peculiar
be.
because he
Let it be.
does have memories. He remembers when he fell, what, 15 meters? Because Stamets
Hmm.
says it was 30 meters. This is no, it was 15.
Yeah.
And there's a doctor that comes down and heals him, so
Hmm.
prevents him from dying, which is why he got into the medical field to begin with, is you inspired to become a doctor so that he could also save lives, pay it forward. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And Culber doesn't feel like himself, and I think we could all understand that. I mean, if you were just dead and
Yep.
trapped in a place where everything was trying to kill you, basically.
And
That's
all the
what it was to
tests
him.
are running normal, but he still doesn't feel like himself. He doesn't like being touched. Um, he's lost in thought a lot and is easily startled when people come up to him, but
Hmm.
several times people touch him and he responds in a jerky or shrinking fashion.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's had a scar that's now gone.
Hmm.
And the doctor, who I think is actually the chief medical officer on board,
I
tells him
don't
that,
know. The
yeah,
chief medical officer has never been designated, not
that's
even
weird. That's the weird
throughout the
thing about
entire.
Discovery. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing though, is that so much emphasis is put on chief officers of things in Star
Yeah.
Trek. And the thing is that like that person is the only person ever doing anything? No.
Well, still over 5 seasons with about 10 episodes per season. I mean, that gives you 50 episodes to
Yeah,
have the chief medical officer in there somewhere, and we never see them.
yeah, we never see a chief engineer either.
Yeah, is like when they hire on Reno, is she the chief or she's
Nope.
just an engineer?
She's just an
Very
engineer.
odd. It's very odd.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
Well, you'd think if, just the nature of things that the chief officers will interact with the captain and the first officer a lot. And we never see that in Discovery. And it's very strange.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't bother me,
Yeah.
frankly. He's
Well,
just
it's always been something kind of in the background for me. Is like, will we ever meet these people? And we never do.
yeah.
And yeah, it's odd. But yeah,
And
so this person that may or may not be the chief medical officer, probably
Dr.
not.
Pollard.
Dr. Pollard tells Culber that it's fresh DNA, that he's been revived. It's all new, but he is his own age, but it's all fresh, and he's lacking
He's
scars.
pristine.
It's pristine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, being born anew, he's becoming accustomed to this new body, even though his memories are there. And so there's a
Mm.
disconnect there that, there's, I guess, scars have memories kind of thing. The body remembers, and with the new body, there's the separation between it and his consciousness. So, what he remembers, his body doesn't, which has got to be disconcerting and make you feel weird. I mean, think of people that get phantom pains that lose a limb, or I guess there's been studies that trans individuals before transitioning experience phantom pains for like the genitals they don't have or the secondary sexual characteristics they don't have, as to feel like you have boobs when you do not. It's
Interesting.
just because your mind setting is you relate, you identify as that gender, and so you anticipate having these parts of your body that aren't there. And I imagine it's very similar for Colbert that he's got this body that was his body before, but this is a new version of it, and yeah, he's just not used to it yet. And so
Yep.
yeah, he's
He's
a bit
he's now
off.
powered by mushrooms.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
He's a fun guy for sure. I can't blame Culber, of course. The thing is that Stamets is just so completely overwhelmingly happy that he does not understand or see that Culber is struggling.
Right.
And that will
Yeah,
come
you
to a head in the episode after this.
I
But
can see that because Stamets he's a hard nut,
mhm,
and he can get lost in his own thoughts, and I don't know if it's autism coded or anything like that, but there's times when he doesn't seem particularly empathetic, though he is. I mean, he feels, especially when he becomes a space daddy,
yep.
that he feels very deeply for people, and he loves Culber very much, but there's like social cues that he might miss out on, maybe, or he's
Hmm.
more involved and, being self-identifying as having autism or being autistic. It depends on how you identify in that regard.
Yeah.
Is whether you push, the identity first or the if you want to call it a disorder first. Uh,
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a condition. I would just say a facet of personality,
Yeah, it's
perhaps.
just how you're wired. I've heard it
It's
called a thinking process or neural
okay.
process,
I like that.
and that's why it's neurodivergent. Is it's atypical way of thinking, and so it's abnormal only because it isn't the norm, and not because it's bad.
Yep.
But that you, at least from my experience, can get kind of locked into a system that
Hmm.
you're building. They say this about the Myers-Briggs thing with the INTJs, is they build the system, this mental system, this way the world works, and they can kind of get lost in it.
Mm.
And I wonder how much, correlation between, that Myers-Briggs personality type and certain people with autistic traits, what the Venn diagram is there
Yeah.
with how they are emotionally or intellectually, or how they communicate, or how they think or process, or how their intuition works. So
Mm.
I think he can be coded as that somewhat. So yeah, being oblivious to his romantic partner's emotional state can be a possibility. I mean, sometimes I
Yeah.
can tell if you're sad or tired or something, but there might be times that I might overlook that.
Yeah, well, and that's the problem with being a woman and being neurodivergent, is because we're taught by society without even realizing it that we need to mask. We are not allowed
Mhm.
to be anything except, what a woman in the minds of sexist men should be. So,
True.
yeah,
And then on the other side of that coin is the men that don't think it's okay to ask for help when they're struggling.
yeah. Yeah,
So,
which is dumb.
we all are, weighed down by certain social pressures or internal pressures as to how we respond to things. So, get a little
Yes.
bit with that with Culber is that he's out of sorts, but he's not sure how to communicate that. I mean, he does a little bit in this, but it seems like a more serious thing than he's putting on.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is because he's that's the thing. He doesn't know what to do right now.
Yeah.
He feels disconnected from the body he's in because it's a new body. It's like you got to break it in, Culber. Come
Yeah.
on. Give it a few days. Give it a week or
Well,
two.
going on with this continuation from what previously happened, we have Saru surviving the
Bahari.
Vahari,
Baharai. Bahar
Vaharai,
Vaharai.
yeah, Vaharai,
Vaharai. Yes.
Vaharai. Uh,
Yes.
that was triggered by a red angel, or was it the red angel signal
The
that
sphere.
triggered?
It was
Yeah,
the
the
sphere.
sphere. Oh, yeah, the sphere when they got that data. So that becomes Zora.
Yep. Later,
Yeah,
much later.
yeah, yeah. All that information, as what Tilly calls a delicious slice of pie or galactic pie. It's
Hmm.
just a galactic history that gets downloaded onto Discovery that
Yeah.
Control then wants.
I
Um,
think that sphere was over 100,000 years old, if I remember
yeah,
correctly. So it had
which
seen
which
a
is
lot,
it's a lot, but it's a blink of the eye when it comes to the age of the universe or even of planet.
which is why Tilly calls it a slice of
Nice.
galaxy pie.
It's just like it's like picking one pepperoni off the pizza. And this is like a
Yeah,
large pizza.
yeah.
Yeah, so okay, boy, I'm getting lost in the sauce here. Okay, yeah, Saru survives the Vaharai. He's himself a changed person that's, he's off duty at the moment as they're evaluating him to see if he can serve because the fear ganglia have evolved into something else, which appears to be a weapon because now he can develop this keratin tissue that become these neck spikes that he can shoot at folks.
Yeah, to be
And
fair though, the ganglia fell out. It wasn't that the
right,
ganglia evolved, but
right,
the tissue that was left behind is what formed into the spikes.
right. So yeah, the ganglia fall out, so he's no longer acting from fear, and so he acts with a lot more confidence and bravado,
Mm, yes,
even aggression.
a little bit.
And it's something he's getting accustomed to. And he comes up to Colbert, and because he's experiencing this change himself, he's like, this is not necessarily a bad thing. Is that when we're no longer the people we were, sometimes we have to embrace that we might be becoming the people we're supposed to be or we're meant to be
Hmm.
because this is the original way that Kelpians develop is they're
Yeah.
supposed to go through this stage of development, a kind of not necessarily a puberty, but something similar to that where, this fear response, which is probably something when they're more vulnerable to keep them alive. They know how to avoid predators and to stay alive until this self-defense or hunting mechanism develops in their body and then they can be more aggressive and fearless but
Hmm.
until that stage comes and it seems like strength improved strength and other abilities come with it because we see Saru being particularly powerful and we know they're fast too that
Yeah.
the Kelpians are strong runners but yeah that he has a moment with Colbert, but it comes from his own personal experience, not necessarily what Colbert is going through, but at least it's a perspective
Hmm.
that Colbert could possibly embrace.
Yeah. But yeah, that's not gonna be the easiest road.
No,
But
it takes a
it
while. Yeah.
it does get better. And it does help when you have a fucking therapist on board. Thank you, Admiral.
Yeah, well, I think that's also why Colbert eventually becomes a
A
psychotherapist as
counselor.
well
Yeah.
as a, physician.
Yeah. Admiral
Is
Cornwall
yeah,
was a big example for him.
yeah, that struggling with his own identity helped him learn to be empathetic to those that experience some kind of trauma or difficulty, stress in life, and
Yeah.
how to cope with it.
And Detmer really takes advantage of that.
Yeah.
in season 3 because she is not okay when they get to the
No.
future.
No.
So yeah, she's going through some stuff. The one thing, and this is not even part of this episode, but just one of the most, I think, what's the word I'm looking for here? Profound. There we go.
Right.
Things that Admiral Cornwell tells Culber is that love is a choice, and we make that choice every day.
Yep. So the feelings he has for Stamets, it's a little broken because
Mm-hmm.
he's got to realign with himself before he can open himself out to others. It's like you've got to learn to love yourself again
Mm-hmm.
because it's a new self, really. I
Yeah,
mean,
new body.
even though the memories are there, he's brand new.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that adjustment phase has to take place before he can just fall into the old habits of a life that used to be. Yeah, but you hit the reset button and you lost your save details for your relationship. To put it in gaming terms.
Corrupted data.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I died. Oh, I didn't go to a safe spot. Oh no, and you lose all
Shit.
that relationship experience, and so it's something that they're going to have to rebuild.
Yeah, and they do.
Yep. So you can see them, Culber being standoffish when it comes to Stamets, that Stamets wants to just go right back into the relationship because he lost somebody he loved and got him back. And it's like, oh my goodness, we can just continue on as if I had never lost you. But that's not true. You did lose him.
Yeah.
And, you have to account for that.
Well, and that's the thing. Stamets doesn't understand that yet. And
No.
Culber doesn't understand it either quite yet. And so that's why they have this problem that they have, which eventually does get resolved in this season at the very end of the fucking season, but it gets
Yeah.
resolved. But it's something where, it's like, just tell him how you feel. He doesn't know how he feels. That's the thing, is that he would like to be able to tell Paul how he's feeling, but he doesn't know how to verbalize it. And this is why he goes to a therapist,
Yeah.
because that is what a therapist is there for, is to help you with these things.
Mm-hmm.
Not to tell you what to do, but to help you understand yourself.
Right.
So anyway, that's a lot. We haven't even
Yeah.
gotten really to the meat of this episode. So, but yeah, it's nice to have Culber back. And Wilson Cruz is hot as hell. I do not
Right.
mind looking at him.
Oh, his
So,
arms in this. Holy
oh my
crap.
God, just his arms always. Just,
Yep.
have you seen him shirtless? Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, he
I
used to
didn't know perfection like that existed.
back when I was still on Twitter and following him, he would share thirst pics of him like
Oh
working
God,
out or
yes.
something, and he'd be shirtless, and you just see like that 12 pack, and it's like, damn,
12 pack. I don't think it was a
that's
12
where your
pack, but
abs have abs.
yeah, abs on abs. And he's just a
You look
really
like
fantastic
a
human.
package, like your belly looks like a package of Hawaiian rolls.
Except those Hawaiian rolls are really hard.
Yeah, except you poke them and you know
Yeah, it's like solid
they're actually
muscle up in
dense.
there.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we've got this stuff going on, and Saru's pissed because, everything that he's been raised to believe is a fucking lie.
Yep.
And he's self-righteously angry, and I get it. But it gets a little more dicey when the next signal appears, and it appears over Kaminar.
Right.
So let's all go to Kaminar.
And Arium doing everything with the processing of data.
Mm-hmm.
It's working with Tilly, and Tilly's like, "Yeah, we're looking for." Well, it's mostly Arium. Okay, it's all Arium.
Yeah, did I say mostly? It's all Arian.
Yeah, just finding the data. So
Yeah.
yeah, we go to Kaminar. We get to see the rings around the planet, and all during this episode, there's a lot done with camera movement and transitions.
Yes.
Because we get a voiceover, a lot of voiceover from Saru about the story, like he's narrating it
Yes.
and talking about the losing of the threat ganglia. You see his neurology and this image in the med bay that shows his neural network, all his neurons and his autonomic system and all that. And then it transitions into space, and we see kind of this nebula and kind of what, the Red Angel signal leaves.
Hmm.
And just that's one thing. We get a lot with doors. A door will close and then open and we'll be somewhere else. We get that in the turbo lift. We get that from
That
somebody's
was so
quarters
good.
to the bridge.
That one in the turbo lift, I am not sure how they did it.
Yeah, it seemed like one continuous shot.
It
So if
really,
there was
really
an
did.
edit, it was well hidden.
Yeah, it was unreal, frankly.
Yep.
And I can't find a flaw in it. I can't
Right.
find a single part where it is not completely intentional that he's getting off on another floor. So,
And
yeah,
when the
well done.
camera's not like moving and doing circles and stuff, we kind of sometimes get it like a Dutch angle and stuff. I guess to give the impression that we're on a ship in space
Hmm.
that'll rock one way and rock another as if you're on a ship at sea.
Mm,
So I thought that was unusual. Would
yeah.
call my attention to it sometimes, which is not what you want from the way you film a series. You don't want to draw the eye to how you're filming a scene. You
Yeah,
want the
that's true.
scene to take place. You want, the dialogue to come through. And when they're spinning around uh, the ready room or whatever, with the image of all the Red Angel signals, and they're just doing the Michael Bay spinning a circle shot and then cutting from each person as they have dialogue. It's like, yeah, that's seemed like more intense than that scene needed to be from the movement of the camera.
Eh, it's hard to say. I mean, the first time seeing it probably has a greater effect than like the 20th time you've seen it.
Right,
So,
probably. Yeah, I have probably more to say on that later about, the repeated viewings and how that kind of changes your perspective.
hmm, yeah. So we're going to Kaminar, and
We are.
first off, Pike says Michael's gonna go, and Saru takes exception to that.
Yeah, he throws a little tizzy, gets tense. He's stern with Pike, starts to approach him, peacocks a little, and you see everybody else kind of standing and looking like, if this comes to blows or something. And
Yeah,
that's when
like
Michael steps in.
Reese is getting ready because he's
Yeah,
like security. So he's like, I'm ready to take
yeah.
you down, the motherfucker. But it's not necessary because the ultimate peacemaker, Michael Burnham, just her tiny little self just steps right in.
Yeah, Saru's like a
She's not
head
that
taller
tiny. She's
than she
about five
is.
foot five, if I remember correctly. So she's
Yeah.
not like ridiculously short, but
With that hair, she's like
between
5'7".
yes, she's 5'7" with the hair.
Because she's got
That's got great
quite a
hair.
bit of height on that hair.
Yeah, nothing
There's
wrong with
one
that.
particular part that's kind of sticking up.
Yeah. And that's when she says, I think they have never seen a human before outside of Saru seeing Giorgio. This could come to as a terrible shock to them, and it would be great to have Saru there by my
Right.
side to make this easy. And so finally Pike agrees, but it's the right call. It is the right call for
Yeah.
Saru to go because he is of that planet. He is the one who understands his people. He is the one who is basically coming there to tell them all, you have been lied to, and let's revolt. They don't really have to revolt, which is interesting, the way that it all turns out. But yeah.
Yeah, they even debate the General Order 1
Hmm.
and whether or not this action would be in conflict with that. And it was like, well, the Bowl have warp technology. And
Yeah.
so by association, the Kelpians have experienced warp technology, but it's kind of a gray area. Is
Yeah.
can you interfere with the development of a species that hasn't developed warp technology but is aware of it?
That's the thing. It's not a natural thing that they don't know about warp technology. That information has been kept from them.
Right.
So that general order doesn't apply. General order one doesn't apply in that case because the Baul, who are basically in control of the planet, are the ones that
Hmm.
have the warp technology. Therefore, that it doesn't matter whether the Kelpians understand warp technology at all. They are part of the planet. Therefore, General Order 1 allows contact.
Right.
So there we go. And that was the argument that Burnham basically put forward.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, she does say it's kind of a gray area, but in this instance, I think, it's a case by case basis, and it's really the captain's choice.
Yeah.
And so Pike says, go ahead.
So, yeah. So, let's go Kaminar. And Saru, basically, Pike says, start in your own village, that might be a good idea. And so he goes to his village, and we
In their
see
Tom
from the,
Ford hoodies.
yeah, there we see a female from the back, and I know immediately it's Serana, of course.
Right.
The first time I saw that, I'm like, that's obviously got to be Serana. And we get to hear them speak in the Kelpian language, which I really, really love. And the excitement when she realizes that it's her brother is lovely. And Michael's just standing way back, just letting it go on. But she opens up her communicator so that she can hear the translation of their words, and thereby also giving us the opportunity to understand their words instead of reading subtitles, which I have no problem with subtitles. I've gotten so good at reading them. It's like I don't even notice that I'm reading subtitles.
Right.
Because I'm just that good now. So, and then of course, she sees Michael, and Michael, pulls her hood down so she can show the differences between humans and Kelpians. And Serana asks what she is, and she says, I'm human. I come from a place called Earth.
Yep.
And
they do hand comparisons.
Yeah.
They read the lifelines and how many children you'll have, and
I don't think
how many
that's
times
what
you'll get
Serana
married,
doing.
and the wealth line.
Yeah, and she's basically, as Michael was explaining, the universal translator and how it has over 1,000 languages. She's like, there's over 1,000 different people out there, and so there's like hundreds of thousands. And this kind of overwhelms Serana for a minute. She like short circuits and then reboots and asks if humans from Earth like to drink tea. And so, yeah. So they're going inside. They're going to have a tea party. It doesn't go well.
Did you expect Michael to kind of go at the tea?
Nope. I know. Okay. I think that she was like, interesting. I think that when she tasted it, was like, okay.
Well, she did grow up on Vulcan, and that's a tea culture if there ever was one.
Yeah. Oh,
so
absolutely.
She's probably accustomed to all kinds of tea.
Yeah, but she hasn't ever tasted Fredalia tea. And this is Fredalia tea. So it comes from a flower. So I'm not really sure what kind of taste was going on there. It may have been something really sweet, or it could have been something a little planty.
Seems like everything on Kaminar comes from a flower. Flowers seem to be very important in their culture because they find Serana gardening. Is that her name? Serana, right? Yes.
Serana, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we see Saru's quarters, and there's flowers everywhere because he brought seeds from his planet so he wouldn't miss home.
But he does miss home.
But he does miss home because the flowers don't grow as well on a starship as they do on their home planet.
Yeah. And we will see the actor who plays Serana a couple more times. We will see her in season 3 of Discovery, playing a different Kelpian, which is we only get to really see in flashbacks and a message, repeating message that has been damaged. So, and then in season 1, I want to say season 1, or is it season 2? It's season 1 or season 2 of Strange New Worlds that she plays a Klingon. So if I remember correctly, it's a Klingon. Yeah.
She must be very tall to play.
She is very tall. She's very tall. I think she's like, I want to say she's like close to 6 feet, if not 6 feet.
Right.
So, because I mean, we know how tall Doug Jones is, and she's almost as tall as he is.
Yep.
So,
what did you think of their chemistry, Serana and Saru?
I thought it was very brother-sister, actually.
Okay. Sometimes it veers on the romantic, and it's like, where are we going with this?
I never saw it that way at all. Yeah. Not ever.
I guess it depends on the relationship you have with your sibling, because some brothers and sisters are very close.
Yeah, like well, and that's the thing. They've been separated for a long time, like a long time. And so it's relearning each other. And plus, Saru has become an evolved being. And so that causes a little bit of stress between the two of them as well. But that
Yeah.
won't last long because, he's just going to trigger the entire Kelpian race into Vaharai anyway. But
It's just kind of funny. It's like, oh no, we won't interfere with General Order 1, and then they end up altering this species, but in the way they're supposed to develop. So
yeah,
that's the
that's the
funny
thing.
thing.
They're resetting them to their original
Yeah,
programming, their original genetic
because
programming.
yeah, a warp capable species has modified the culture, the development of the Kelpians. So
Yes,
it's kind,
they have
it's
interfered.
like they're resetting everything back to where it's supposed to be, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When we get more information from the sphere data, whichever way you want to call it, it clearly shows that the ball almost went extinct
Yep.
a long, long, long time ago.
It's
And
interesting that they said that the Kelpians were the predator and the Baul were the prey. Not that they were at war,
mhm,
that they must have been eating the Baul,
hunting them, that is my
hunting them.
guess, because it was obviously a much more primitive time.
Yeah,
And so basically, I think that it was like early humans going out and hunting animals for food.
right.
So that's probably how they saw them. But and we don't know what Baul were like at that time. But the Baul sure fucking remember everything the Kelpians ever
Oh
did to
yeah.
them throughout centuries and centuries. And
Mhm.
we don't even
Yeah.
know for sure how long this has been going on.
It's all very, very weird. And I was going to probably save this until we just talk about, our general thoughts at the end of the episode. But here's a good point to bring it up, I think, is in watching this episode, it felt less like they were just coming up with the Kelpian history as they went. It feels more written in stone now that it's been a while and we know what Kelpians are. We know their history now. But at
Mm-hmm.
the time, it seemed like they were just throwing things out there because so much of it is just new information brought up each time that, oh, yeah, we have this fear ganglia thing and we fear things. Oh, we're going to go into this Valharai experience and no longer have that and now be aggressive. And oh, the Baul, they contain us and they cull us. Oh, but we were the predators at the first place, and this was actually a way to control that so we wouldn't be killing that Baul. It all feels like at first like a kid telling you a story where they're just coming up with new things as they go. And then Superman arrives, that kind of thing.
Mm.
At first, where it just seems like non sequiturs or just new information just to keep things interesting. But, you know, now that it's written in stone, now that what, 9 years or so have passed, what,
Mm.
8 years since this episode, probably?
It was 2019 that this season
Yeah.
premiered.
Okay. So
So
yeah, 6, 7 years.
7 years.
Yep. That now it's settled. Now we have a better understanding of Kelpians, and the Baul. And now, that we've experienced, 3,000 or 1,000. I forget how far in the future they go. 1,000 years, something like that. 900 and something.
920 years.
920 years into the future. So it's we have
930 years, sorry.
yeah,
Sorry.
all that time plus this to realize the Baul and Kelpian relations. So yeah, it feels less ungrounded and more planned in retrospect. Because yeah, at
Well,
the
that's
time when originally watching the series, it did seem like they were just throwing information out there on the
yeah,
Kelpians and they didn't have a clear idea to begin with. They were just writing as they went.
I disagree, but that is my personal opinion. I
Yeah.
think what they were doing is course correcting from a lot of what season one did. A lot of
Okay.
the stuff that was actually in place before they could do anything else about it. And when the big shakeup happened, you can see actually in season one the break
Right.
between when the old guard were shuffled out and the new wave came in. You can actually see a clear distinction in the way it's filmed, in the way the dialogue is written, in the way, just in the sets, everything. You can see that there's a difference. And this is where the story is really starting to get its legs.
So we might actually have a little bit of rewriting here to course correct for what had
Yes.
been written before and
Yes.
taking Saru in a new direction because the fear ganglius thing was just not going to work.
It was not going to continue to work. And maybe that was actually the plan, to eventually have him not have that response anymore.
Right.
But I don't know, and I'm not going to go do a bunch of research just to find out. I'm just going with my gut here. You guys will have to deal with it. I have intuition, and usually it's right.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
so that feeling of incongruity, that's not something I'm imagining between, the
no,
early
I don't
representation
think
of
so.
Kelpians and what we get later.
I don't think so, but I mean there are some episodes in season 1 where Saru, I can't remember which episode it is, but it's this episode where they're trying to use this alien tower to send out a
Right.
communication.
Yeah, it's the
And
one where
for
the planet has like all its species communicate with one another. It's like a very Avatar kind of world.
mhm,
And on that planet, it suppresses his fear response, and so he starts
yeah.
acting more aggressively.
Yeah, so we see that in that episode. It's not like
Right.
this is something completely out of the blue, but we are getting a lot more context. We're getting a lot more lines filled in instead of this being just a, oh, da 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 da. And that's all there is to this character. Because that's the thing about Saru, is his evolution is actually really broad and interesting. And it's not
Right.
just the actual physical evolving, it's the emotional, mental evolving that he does throughout the entire series, and made him one of my
Yeah.
most favorite characters of all time.
Yeah, that he does become more aggressive and then has to learn how to draw that back and to be more empathetic and sympathetic of a character.
Mm-hmm.
And it also calls into questions how, or it calls into question how the Baul developed technology when it was on the brink of extinction.
That's exactly why.
Yeah.
When you are desperate and you are on the brink of extinction, you do whatever it takes to stay alive.
So it might have been one of these evolutionary experiences for survival that under environmental pressures, the species developed technology and learned how to use that to build up their numbers and to counter the Kelpians and put them in their place
Mm-hmm.
as the predator turns prey and prey turns predator situation.
Yeah, which is interesting because if you look at the actual numbers when they're scrolling to see when uh, things were sort of in balance, and then it shows a little number counter in the bottom left part of the screen, it got down to the point where there was less than 300 Baul
Right.
left.
So
And
nearly hunted to
then,
extinction.
yeah. And so then that's when something changed and the numbers started to grow, with the Kelpians becoming the non-dominant species and the Baul becoming the dominant species. So, and the Baul are fucking scary looking. Now, I
Yeah,
don't
they're
know
like, what
what
is her
they're.
name? Samara, the girl from The Ring that climbs out of the well.
Yep, 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 yep.
They're like
But
that. They're like that, but a skeleton.
yes, very skeletal, very long
Hmm.
fingers, red eyes. Don't like red eyes. Red eyes just freak me out every time.
And do they
And
exist in some kind of oil kind of
it
substance?
no, that was water that they were in. They themselves are oily, so I don't know. And oil and water don't mix.
Right.
So it's not
Some
like
kind
the
of
water is
mud or
washing them
muck
away.
or goo or something.
Yeah.
Because even Saru says that they're frail,
Mm-hmm.
that the Baul are particularly frail, and so technology is their defense mechanism. And it's kind of odd because they're so grody.
Mm-hmm.
They're
They're just really
gooey.
gross looking.
They've got, the red eyes. They've got, thick hair that, looks like it's clotted with mud and these thin limbs, very tall and You wonder if they can support their own weight outside of this substance they seem to live in for very long. So why are their ships so pristinely clean?
That's something that I don't know. We do see Bowel in the future.
Right?
In I think I want to say season 4 or 5. No, it's season 4 of Discovery, I think, or is it season 3? Anyway, we do see future Bowel, and
Right.
they're kind of just they're still in liquid of some kind. Because the place in which we see them is like a meeting area because Saru's an ambassador now, and
Yeah.
so he's home for a meeting, and they're kind of just all the bowl are just kind of sort of like raised up, but it floating. So I don't know. We don't have enough information on the
Yeah, it
bowl, and I
calls into
think that's
questions a
one
lot.
that's one of those things that I feel like could have been rounded out a little bit more than it was.
Yeah, well, also when they cull, maybe they teleport the Kelpians onto a ship and then process them.
Oh
And
yeah,
so
that's absolutely
these,
what they do.
yeah, these areas of the ship that are clean and well lit, that's the purpose for them. Though you'd think the Bible would have made it more reflective of Kelpian culture and had some plants and stuff, but maybe they just don't care enough
They
to
just
do
they
that.
just didn't care.
That
They
it's
just
very
wanted to keep them
clinical.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just okay, you're approaching the Vaharai. We're gonna teleport you onto our ship and then process and eliminate you,
Well, see, and
which
that was
they've
the
been
whole
doing
thing.
for what, hundreds of, not thousands of years.
Thousands,
Yeah.
thousands of years. And that's the thing, the whole culling thing. That's what those big pylons in every town are for.
Yeah.
When it's time for that particular group that's about to go through Vahari, when it's their time, they are pulled over. They don't really have a lot of choice. They shuffle over to that pylon, and they're just zapped out with a transporter.
Hmm.
And that's not what the Kelpians think. They don't know what happens, but that's obviously a transporter.
Well, yeah. Don't the Kelpians even call it a culling?
Oh yes, they do call it a culling.
So,
Yeah.
and we know that to mean basically elimination,
Mm-hmm.
that they're being removed to society and very likely killed.
Yep. Oh, they know that.
Yeah.
But this is the great
But
balance. This is what they've
yeah.
been taught. This is their
Mhm.
quote unquote religion.
And it's supposed to
So,
be an act of mercy because the Vaharai, you're going to die painfully anyway. You're going to reach
yeah,
a certain age, experience extreme pain, and then die or be driven mad. And
not
so,
so.
yeah, the Vaharai, the culling is to prevent that.
I will say the man who was in the costume of the Baul, wow,
Uh-huh.
really amazing body work there because he appeared very alien. Yes,
Right.
this thing was mostly sort of humanoid, but it was so very alien and might I say terrifying.
Yeah, you'd think it might have been some kind of puppet work, but if it
Mm-mm.
was
There was a
just,
guy in there.
yeah,
There's a guy in there, and I want to look up who it is. I can't remember, but he's known for doing stuff like this
right,
because of his body. So very flexible person as well. So as I mean physically flexible.
right.
So can contort his body in different ways. Just like how, the alien from Alien was a guy in a suit.
Hmm.
So, and obviously someone very thin,
Right.
but able to wear that fucking suit.
Yeah.
So, but very good with the movements. So, and I commend people like that because not everyone can do that. And when you can find someone that can do it as well as this guy and the guy who was the alien, just more power to you. And I hope you got paid a lot more than, your average actor because that's a lot of extra work. So, anyway, long story short, let's see, where were we? So yes, the Baul figure out that Saru is on Discovery. Well, actually he's still on the planet at the time, but the pylon goes off and we start getting scary noises, and the the earth is
Yeah,
trembling.
there's trembling earth, and yeah.
And so they bug out and get back to the ship, and the Ba will have sent a bunch of sentry ships to surround Discovery. And I'm like, joke's on you. They can travel through the mycelial
Yeah,
network.
if Discovery wanted to leave, they could. But we also don't know what kind of preventative measures the ball will
Yes.
have either. So if they
Yeah.
could somehow contain the Discovery, I
Yeah.
just
And
don't know.
I don't think that they could have contained the Discovery, and that's why they use the pylons.
Yeah.
They're going to destroy basically all of the Kelpians in one go by just, overloading all of these pylons. But yeah, Saru's not having that. And anyway, uh basically Saru is like, okay, I can't let this stand. They've already gone back to Discovery. He's like, and Pike is like, stand down. And Saru's like, okay. And he tells Saru to get off the bridge. And I'm like, and that's one of these beautiful transitions is when Saru's in the turbo lift. He walks into the turbo lift. We're still seeing him from behind. The doors in front of him open. He's on another deck. And that's just seamless.
Yeah,
Don't
it
know where the
goes
cut was. If
to
there was one, it was
yeah,
perfection.
the transporter room.
Yeah. And he sets the delay for 60 seconds. And I'm like, really? You
Just
wouldn't
enough
set the
time for
delay for
Michael to
10
show up to
seconds?
have a
Yeah.
tense scene of her trying to prevent him from leaving by holding a
I
blaster at him or
My guess
phaser.
is that I think he knew that she was coming. I think he knew that she knew what he
And
was
for
going to
him to
do.
make his point,
Hmm.
I don't know, maybe you just set it to 60 seconds in case you trip on the way there.
Yeah, I'm gonna trip in the 2 feet that it takes to get to the
Yep.
transporter pad.
Who even needs to be a transporter chief or
Yeah.
transporter operator if anybody can just like set it, like you would one of the old cameras that you can set to take a picture, put a little timer on it and just go stand on the transporter thing. It's like, you sure you
Well,
want to
yeah.
trust the automation?
Yeah. Well, the poor guy that was in the transporter room.
Yeah.
It's like Saru was not kind.
But yeah, the Baul are demanding the return of their property, which is Saru.
Hmm.
And so,
And
yeah,
Saru
he decides
acquiesces.
to surrender himself to
Yeah.
prevent a mass culling.
And well, that's not even the mass culling part yet. That at that point they, you know, power down their sentry ships and take them back. But it's not until Saru is brought onto the Bowel ship base, whatever. It's something that's under this big lake, and they say it's like over 50 kilometers long. That is fucking huge.
Yeah, it's big. Well, it's got to be basically where the Baul are living, you would expect,
Yeah.
unless they're
Well,
living inside the lake.
I think that they're doing both. Because they rise up out of water. That's why there's a pool in that room, is so they can go into
Yeah.
that room.
Rise out
I
of
feel
something.
I feel like they can't stay out of water very long because of
Yeah.
their frail bodies.
Yep.
So, but yeah, they've got Saru. Sarana is beamed in pretty soon too. One little problem I have with that scene is that he shouts Sarana right before she's transported.
Yeah, bad timing.
Bad timing. Maybe he sensed it coming. And yeah, now basically they face their terrifying enemy. And the thing is that they're not enemies with the Baul so much as the Baul are enemies with them, if that makes sense. Like
Right.
the Kelpians just want to live in peace.
Well, considering what happened in the past, if this was an act of desperation by the Baul to contain the threat of the Kelpians annihilating them, it's just swinging the pendulum the other way. Is
Yeah,
that now the Baul are containing and controlling the numbers of Kelpians so that the Baul don't get exterminated. And this could potentially be a pendulum that swings back and forth because if Kelpians realize that they can experience and survive the Vaharai, that they can become these aggressive killing machines and just wipe out the Baul again. But then Baul have this technology to cull them. So, is it going to be this massive standoff?
it's not though. We know this because we see
Yeah,
the Baul and Kelpians together in the
yep.
future. on the same team.
Right.
And that's the thing. It's like this is like the Baul, like let's think about the dawn of Homo sapiens, right?
Right.
And where we are from then to now. That's how I look at the Baul then and the Kelpians then to now,
Right.
because they can make choices now. They are more evolved, they're more knowledgeable. They've gone through centuries and centuries of evolution, and they're not that same just fight or flight response anymore.
Well, yes.
You can choose your behavior.
Yeah, I could see that regarding like the tribalism that your tribe has to survive against this tribe. But we're social animals. We exist very much like a pack animal does.
Mm-hmm.
We're primates. We have, similar social grouping skills and processes as other primates. And so, yeah, that kind of social construct and even morality, develops as this evolutionary thing. People want to say that there's an objective morality given us to us through God. It's like, no, if this
Mm-mm.
morality is an evolutionary trait, and it's something you can experience in other animals. Rats, in fact, a rat will help a stranger rat if that rat thinks that other rat is in mortal danger.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Complete strangers don't know each other, aren't in their own rat families, but will assist a stranger rat, and that's just an act of morality. There's nothing on the rat that's going to benefit from saving this other rat that we know of, other than, that maybe they have a social structure that we're unfamiliar with. Something that we're still studying in dogs, wolves that care for one another, ravens, and how they will warn each other and tell each other of particular individuals to stay away from, threats.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why grudges or crows or ravens will hold grudges against you if you ever like throw a rock at them. They're going to tell their friends.
Oh
And
yeah.
they can recognize faces, and if they tell each other, describe you to them, they're like, "Hey, that guy over there threw a rock at me." It's like these are evolutionary traits.
Yeah.
And so you can get that with, just the development of the Baul or the Kelpians and the
Yeah.
tribalism of each. But yeah, that's that the, just pure primal instinct. We'd have to go way back in our evolutionary history to find the point that was just purely fight or flight,
Mm-hmm.
that there wasn't some other social or moral contract there, that morality isn't something new. It's been
Yeah.
in the human experience for a long ass time. It might be something that gets more developed the more we develop socially, but we still have wars. We still have crime.
Yeah.
still have people who lie or cheat or, corruption and so on. But yeah, that's, that it's something that we've perfected. That's not true yet.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, the Baul says his or her piece. It's like it has a very male sounding voice, but maybe that's what all Baul sound like. We
Yeah,
don't
we
know.
don't know. But yeah, just
And
saying, Saru, you don't even know what you are.
yeah, but I think he does now because he's been
Yeah.
through Bahari. But uh, basically, he and Sarana are going to be examined and
Mhm.
then basically killed.
Yep.
Uh, but they don't really count. And we get to see Saru's spikes for the first time, but the Baul aren't any dummies, and there's
Yeah,
already a
Bo
shield.
has a force field, and
Yeah,
we see Saru's amazing strength as he managed to break out of these constraints that he's magnetized to the wall in, this
yeah,
throat restraint and some like shackle restraints. And there's these
yeah.
little drones that are going to basically examine, process, and kill them. We keep doing examine with scare quotes.
Air quote. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, and this little drone with the phantasm ball attachment to it starts spinning and is going to drill into Sru's head from the looks of it, very
Right in the
slowly in a
face. Right in
menacing
the
kind of
face.
way. It doesn't just jab him like, you
Mm-mm.
would think might happen. It's a very bond with Star Trek with bond with, master villain,
Yeah.
leaving him to die,
Yeah.
But yeah, Saru manages to destroy these drones and to free Serana.
Yeah, the only quibble I have with this scene is that Saru's collar isn't really doesn't seem attached to the wall at any
Uh,
point. It's just a little loose.
right.
So a little too flimsy of a attachment there, glue,
Yeah.
what have you. So yeah, as if you look at the scene again, you would see him moving his head around pretty independently of the wall.
It's also a bit of a leap that he's able to piece together bits of electronics from these drones to create the exact thing they need
Oh,
to
that it's
replicate.
not, but it's
Okay,
not. It's not because remember the short trek where we saw Saru as a younger man,
oh
and
yeah,
when he was taken, well, he went with Giorgio
right.
because he built a transmitter and sent out messages hoping someone would hear them. And
Yeah,
Starfleet did.
see, for me, that's less of a leap of logic because the technology that he might have scavenged to do this might have been purposed for something similar to that to begin with.
Mm,
These weaponized drones to be able to use their technology to produce something else entirely. I mean, I guess electronics are electronics, and you can,
mm-hmm,
like, if you were to break apart a stereo, you can pretty much change a transmitter to a receiver pretty quickly just by switching what wire goes to what. That a microphone can become a speaker just depending on how you reverse what goes to what.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
and
I
I
suppose he could do that.
I feel like he's had his fair share of engineering experience in Starfleet.
Yeah.
So I just attribute it to that, is that he's been in Starfleet for a while now. And I'm sure that he's had his own. I mean, look at how he's grown his plants and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's a type of engineering, whether you want to think about it that way or not, because you're engineering growth of something instead of building something out of other parts.
Well, you figure that's why Giorgio came for him in the first place, is here's
Yeah.
this planet that, yeah, the Baul are isolationist, but we're getting a signal from somebody else, and how and why.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Saru was able to, without much experience with technology, figure out how it works enough to be able to send a signal to Starfleet.
Yeah. Now think
Yeah.
about this 18 years later. He's had a lot of experience putting
Mhm.
things together.
And he's first officer, so,
Yeah.
just that shows experience altogether, because going from
Mm-hmm.
like new to Starfleet to an ensign, just climbing up the ranks to the point where, well, yeah, they can assign anybody as first officer, I suppose, but you'd prefer somebody with some experience.
Well, he was first officer to Giorgio.
Yeah, yeah, but
So it's
when
not
he
his
was
first.
first,
Yeah.
well, I'm saying like he'd have to develop. I mean, imagine Giorgio didn't immediately make him first officer.
Well, no, of course not. But
Yeah, that
uh
if he'd have to climb the ranks normally, he probably even attended the academy,
yeah.
you would
But
imagine.
what I'm saying is he has experience as a first officer.
Right.
And so it makes sense for him to be Pike's first officer when
Hmm.
Pike takes over Discovery, especially since Burnham still isn't exactly commissioned
Yeah, I
because of
suppose, yeah,
season one.
she's
She,
still an ex-con, I guess.
no, I think that she's science officer now,
Yeah.
but yeah, she does take off to go find Spock too. So there's a lot of is she part of Starfleet? Is she not part of Starfleet? By the end of it, of course, she's definitely very much part of Starfleet, but that's going to not necessarily matter so much when she gets to the 31st century.
Yeah, well, anytime they put somebody in a uniform, you'd think that would m- give them official status.
Yeah,
If
but
you
that's
are
the
in a
thing.
Starfleet uniform, you are a Starfleet officer. Because
But
if
that
you
was
are
the
not,
thing.
you're impersonating an officer, and that should be against Federation law.
I realized that, but this was established in season one when she was Well, when she got out of prison, she was supposed to be on her way to
Hmm.
another prison, and then you know that didn't go the way that it was supposed to. And she, considering that she was still technically a criminal, she could not be commissioned as an officer, but they could still put her in a uniform and put her to work.
Yeah.
She
It's
had
weird that
no
they didn't put
rank.
her in civvies, just put her in civilian uniform or civilian clothes and have her work as a consultant. And once she's recommissioned, then you can put her in the uniform.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me really that much
Yeah.
because season one was an uneven mess for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
it was
weird.
good. It was still good. It was still enough to make me excited for more.
Yeah.
But it was a difficult season. And the thing is that in Star Trek, there are very few really good season ones.
Well, the odd thing about season one is it still works because it's Lorca.
Yes,
And
yes,
that weird feeling the crew has, and that
yes.
nobody seems to be relating to each other,
Mm-hmm.
that it all seems to be about the, key few lead characters. And yeah, it's Discovery. There's still some characters we don't get enough time with. I mean, that's a common complaint or charge against Discovery, but we get a little bit more than we do in season one
Yeah. Well,
in
we
later
get a lot
series.
more in seasons three, four, and five.
Yeah.
So,
So, but yeah, that weird disconnect, that lack of cohesion in the crew,
mhm.
we see that because of Lorca's leadership.
Yeah.
He is one of those that would divide the crew to better control them. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want them at peace or with one another. He's like this war captain,
Yeah, he doesn't want them
and
working
he
together. He
rules
doesn't want
in
them
a
forming
way that's
alliances.
intimidating
Yeah.
and doesn't encourage people to talk out of line or anything. He's not a Pike
Nope. He's
or a
certainly not a
Kirk
Pike.
who is more open to the ideas of crew members. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
like the role of captain is similar to a role of director, and depending on what kind of director you get for like a film, you can have a Kubrick that has all the ideas already in his head and is going to just tell you what to do and film it 40 times until he gets the right one. Something similar to what a Chris Nolan might do. Or you can
Mm.
get somebody who's more of a actor's director and will work with the actor for new ideas, or like Christopher Guest movies where they're mostly improvised to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Which is fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, and that's the thing. These directors who go in with this vision and will not deviate it for
right,
any reason whatsoever, those tend to be movies I don't enjoy
right.
because the thing is that the movie that you have in the script is not ever the movie you have on the screen.
Well,
There
yeah, there's the movie
always
you write, the
changes.
movie you
Yeah.
shoot, the movie you edit, and they're three
Yep.
different movies.
Yep. Exactly. So anyone who's got so much overcompensation that they have to control all of those aspects for it to be their vision instead of
Yeah.
letting the narrative speak, you know.
Yep. Or even letting actors come to you with, hey, this
Yeah.
is what I'm feeling the scene is about, and should I explore it this way? And well, maybe we'll film it both ways, and whatever works, we'll put in the film. We'll
Yeah.
leave that up to the editor to determine what fits emotionally, because it's, I guess, one of the more famous film editors is saying that that's the first thing you edit for is emotion,
Mm-hmm.
not continuity. If something's discontinuous in the scene, people aren't going to notice if the emotion is what follows through.
Yep.
If, it leads from one scene to the other, because otherwise you get this tonal shift from one scene to another, and it kind of breaks your mind.
Yep.
It's like, why did we jump from this to this? They're not emotionally connected.
Yeah. So back to Saru building things. I don't have a problem with it because he's got a bunch of scattered things and you see him picking through the things. It's like, can
Uh-huh.
I use this? Can I use that? It's sort of like a little bit of a montage.
He's looking for his Lego
And
pieces that fit together.
he is looking for his Lego pieces. They look very much like black Legos.
Yeah.
and he manages to get in touch with Discovery. He explains what's going on, and he says, "This is what I'm going to do. So buckle up, Buttercup." Basically, because they've activated all the pylons.
Mhm.
The Enterprise cannot possibly. The Enterprise. Oh my God! Sorry. The
Yeah, I
Discovery,
almost called out the Enterprise several times too, because we've doing what,
because
three
Spike.
series where this, no,
Yeah.
four of the Star Trek series as we talk about are on the ship the Enterprise.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like the default name for the ship,
Yeah.
so yeah, we have the Discovery and the
We're like pack
Cerritos.
lads. Another Enterprise.
Yep.
We're just pack lads.
Voyager
Anyway,
Defiant.
yeah. So yeah. Uh the pylons have been activated. The Discovery does not even have remotely enough photon torpedoes to destroy all of those pylons.
Right.
And so this is where everything's looking kind of scary because Saru has triggered Vihari for the entire planet,
Yep.
and the
So everybody's
pylons
getting a
are
migraine.
yeah, the pylons are getting more heated up. And then
Hmm.
finally, we get our Red Angel.
Yep, appearing right outside this big 50-kilometer facility, right outside the window where Saru and Srana are.
That's the
And
beauty of time travel.
yep, Saru gets a good look at the Red Angel, this humanoid in a mechanized suit with these mechanized wings behind it,
Hmm.
just appearing and then giving
Doing an
off
EMP.
this electromagnetic pulse and then sitting around for a little while longer and then disappearing.
Yeah. It was a few more seconds. It was almost like I'm giving you time to scan me.
Yep. Take the time to scan me, realize who I am, and
Except
then
he couldn't
the
get past the suit. That's the
yeah,
thing. Couldn't get
right.
further than the suits. So he has that much.
Yeah. The electromagnetic pulse deactivates the pylon controls and
And everything else, there's no power now, even in the
yeah,
base.
there's no power, so yeah, the tension's broken, that imminent threat is eliminated, but leaves the Bowl and the Kelpians alive to decide on their future together.
Yeah. And it's interesting seeing Serana go back to the village and all of these Kelpians are wandering in going, What's happened? What's happened? We don't understand.
It's like, well, we have nothing to fear anymore because, we can survive the Baharai, and so we
Yeah.
need not be afraid when going into this new future.
Yeah.
Though, how they're going to negotiate with the Baul is interesting.
Yeah, I'm certain that Starfleet probably sent a delegation to help with
Mhm.
that, to
Yeah.
mediate. So, but we do see Serana visiting Discovery, and she's delighted to find that his quarters are basically a garden.
Yep.
And he says, you could come with us for a while, have an adventure. And she's like, nah, my people need me. And this is another one of those beautiful transitions where she's turning away from the window and it keeps turning until she's on the transporter pad. Again,
Yep.
seamless, beautiful shot. And she gets beamed back down to Kaminar. So, but Saru is glad, that now his people have a fighting chance. Not necessarily literally, but definitely literally.
Right.
And the only stuff that we see after that is this little tense conversation between Pike and Ash Tyler.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, here I'm sharing information begrudgingly. And the thing is that they're both so, what's the word I'm looking for here? I think they're both so protective over Michael that they just cannot get along. It's like they just have to posture
Yeah.
against each other. And it isn't until I think is it the next episode or the episode after that? No, wait a minute. 7? Yep. The next episode, because 8 is when we all go back to the Talos 4. Yeah, there's a whole timey-wimey thing going on there. So yeah, that's an interesting episode too. Anyway, we have talked a lot
Yeah,
about
it's a
this
dense
episode.
episode. There's a
It
lot going on
is.
here.
Well, and there's so much that came before it that
Right.
influences this episode. And the aftermath of this episode is also very influential that we'll see later on in the series, later on in the season, rather. So this is actually one of my favorite episodes of Discovery. And probably just because I love Saru and Doug Jones is a magnificent person.
Yep.
Don't get enough Tilly in this one, though. Just
We
don't get
got
enough
we
Tilly.
got a
We
galactic
got
slice
some.
of Tilly.
Yeah, we got a slice of
We
Tilly,
didn't
but
get
I
much
wanted to.
Stamets in this either.
Yeah, I wanted a whole pie of Tilly. I
Yeah,
wanted a Tilly pie, but I didn't get it. So it's okay.
right.
It's okay. Take what I can get. We get lots of Tilly later. So anyway,
Indeed.
got anything else to say about this episode,
Nope, I
baby?
think I said it all. I didn't
Yeah.
really save
We,
anything. I was wondering if we were going to bring up Ash Tyler because there's the whole Section 31 thing. There's the whole not being yet discovered for killing Culber thing.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This It's not something that is necessary in this episode. It's we aren't going to deal with that yet. We're going to get
Hmm.
there, but that's not what the focus of this episode is. So that's okay that we only have a little bit of Ash Tyler in this one.
Yep.
All right, then. You know what time it
Oh,
is.
yes. Got to bring up the randomizer.
The
Okay.
randomizer. I gotta
All
bring
right.
up the
What
spreadsheet.
did I
There we
what did I
go.
do with it? All right. Why can I not
Uh,
find it?
Just a reminder, folks, season 1 of Starfleet Academy is out in about, let's see, 12 days.
Ooh.
And I'm really excited for you guys to see this. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say. There's lots of stuff I want to say, but can't say it.
Right. That's true.
But that's, once that starts airing, Dan and I will be back with the Unready Room, and you'll get to hear all
That's
our
true.
thoughts.
Yeah,
So,
you'll hear like probably right after an episode airs. We're back on 9:54 if I'm not mistaken.
yes, that is
Okay,
correct.
so ready for the number?
Roll the dice, baby.
616.
616.
Watch
That's
it be
the
another Enterprise.
you might be right. No, I bet it's Voyager. Let me scroll. 616 is Voyager season 1 episode 13, Repentance.
Repentance. We haven't done that
Repentance.
one before.
We have not.
Okay.
We have not. I mark them off as we do them.
Okay.
So I know which ones we've done and which ones we've not, because I highlight them on the spreadsheet. I had to do a copy of the spreadsheet because otherwise I'd be messing with Dan's original copy, and I wasn't
Ah,
going to do that.
right.
So, see, this is episode 49 next week. So 49, Voyager season 7, episode 13, Repentance.
So we're back in season 7.
Back in season 7.
Okay.
Try not to
This,
sound too
well, that's
enthusiastic,
this the
Dave.
time I was kind of falling off Voyager. It's like, what are you
Yeah,
guys doing?
yeah. I
Like the
I feel
series
you.
overstayed its welcome.
Well, that's the thing, is they were so gung ho in that time period to have like 26 episodes of a
Hmm.
series a year. That is insane.
Yeah,
It's
nowadays, yeah,
insane.
you're lucky to get 10.
10 is fine. 10
Yeah,
is 10 is perfect. 15, yeah, I think should be the maximum.
right.
But that's just me,
Yeah,
you
it just
know.
doesn't leave room for filler episodes like you get when
Yeah.
you can have a 23 episode season.
And that's the great part, is that there's no filler.
Right.
So they don't waste time.
Every once in a
Anyway,
while they do, because what
yeah,
is
that's
it?
true. That's
The
true.
Four Vulcans or whatever that episode is called?
4.5 Vulcans, do not
Four and
even
a half.
get me
Yeah.
started on that. Ugh,
Talk about filler
ugh,
episodes. It's like
ugh.
completely unnecessary.
Just nothing happened. Nothing
Yeah.
happened. It was just ugh. There was nothing of consequence there. Very
Yeah.
frustrating. Yeah, so you guys have your homework. Dave, is there anything you want to tell people?
Still messing around with DJ Studio. Enjoying that. Keep making Brandy playlists, one of which I should probably work on more today, and maybe I'll
Yeah.
actually finish it off since I only have an hour left to be working on the transitions. I've been doing mashups. That's been a lot of fun too, just taking some of my
Mm.
favorite songs and trying to smash them together, taking this square peg and stick it in a round hole and
You know what you should do
vice
is
versa.
you should like make an album of those.
Well, yeah, it kind of is an album because I give them album titles when they add them to my iTunes. It's an album called Mix 'em Ups.
No, perfect. Yeah.
So yeah, and I still have the artists credited under the album artist, so I can keep track of which ones on there. Because I took Dead Disco Dancer by Oh Children and took about 8 samples from various disco and dance tracks and layered them in throughout. So you hear a little bit of like ABBA, the Gap Band, like Donna Summer. Then you get
Mm,
some Gaga in there. I think a little bit of Madonna, like early days Madonna, like Everybody, early dance club hit. So
yeah,
just these little bits, like a little bit of kung fu fighting in there. The oh is in there in a couple of places. So kind
nice.
of fun just to, this song about a murdered disco dancer and then a bunch of disco tracks kind of layered in beneath.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's fun to do.
cool. Um,
What about yourself?
uh, what about me?
Yep.
Uh,
You enjoyed Knives Out,
I
the
Glass
Wake Up Dead
Onion,
Man
no, Wake Up
movie.
Dead Man. I enjoyed that. I think probably religious people will not enjoy it.
Yeah, it's an interesting take on kind of the Christian nationalist movement in evangelical Christianity at the moment. And I
Hmm.
think that was really what Ryan Johnson was focused on. The murder itself is interesting, but that's not like what he's really trying to say in that.
No,
I think
no,
it's
it's not.
mostly Ryan Johnson's view of evangelical Christianity and American religiosity, in
Yeah.
our
And
current
that he
age.
nailed pretty much how I feel about it. So,
Yep. So, preaching from anger and preaching to a very specific few and radicalizing them,
hmm,
you know,
yeah,
and also expelling anybody else who's you consider disloyal or not in service of the church.
yeah,
And just
whatever.
to be this very small concentrated group of extremists.
Yep, I did like that. I was gonna say something. I don't remember what it was. Yes, it didn't matter. But yeah, just again, remember, Starfleet Academy coming very soon.
Yep.
That would be the 15th
Yeah, we'll have to start adding
of
that to
January.
the numbers
Yes. Yes,
for
I will
our
be adding that
randomizer.
as soon as we have them out. I will add them per episode.
Yep.
I will say we did get screeners. That is why I can tell you that you should watch the show.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you should watch it. We can't really say
you
much
should.
about it other than go ahead and watch
Yeah.
it.
I will say this, and I will repeat this on Unready Room when we start Starfleet Academy. I before had complained, why would I want to watch a show about kids going to school? Now I know why I
Yep.
care about watching kids go to school, and you will too when you see the
Yep.
series. So anyway,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can feel like Tawny Newsome, uh from Lower
Lower Decks.
Decks is one of the writers,
Hmm.
and every once in a while you can really feel her pen on the page
Hmm.
because she's a
And
Star
she's
Trek fan
good.
herself,
Oh
and
yeah.
particularly a Deep Space Nine fan. So yeah, you
Hmm.
can feel her influence over the series.
And I will say this is the only other thing I'll say, and it's not really any kind of a spoiler, but this is the first time I have ever liked Holly Hunter in a role.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
I
know. Incredibles, isn't she the voice of Mrs. Incredible, Elastigirl?
yeah, but still didn't care
Yeah.
for
Okay.
it.
I like
But
that, especially when she's on the airplane that's getting targeted by missiles,
mm,
and that Holly actually studied what the words she was saying when she's
oh, good
using
for
the
her.
airplane lingo about how
Hmm.
many souls are on board and that they're friendlies and etc. It's like so she
Yeah,
knew specifically what those words meant.
man, I forgot all about that. I haven't seen Incredibles in a long, long,
Yeah.
long, long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. I just. It's not that I dislike Holly Hunter as a person. I just never really cared much for her performances until
I get
now.
that. Yeah.
So, and I think that she's got so much to work with. That's
Hmm.
just, she looks like she's having fun.
Yeah. Well, we need
And,
to because
huh?
we're doing screeners, we have to limit what we say.
Yeah. Okay. Just
Do I
no,
need to
no,
cut
no.
that out?
Yes. Go ahead and cut that out,
Okay.
or not, or not.
All
It
right.
doesn't matter.
So that's a boo-boo.
I'll just say she looks like she's having a good time.
I think everybody looks like they're having a good time. It'd
Is
be
that really a
sucky if anybody
spoiler?
looked like they were having a bad time on a series they were working on, but every once
Yeah.
in a while that
Oh,
happens.
I know. So, but anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay then. So yeah, next week, more Voyager coming at you, season 7 more Voyager.
Yep.
You're so excited, I can just tell.
Season
So-
7, yay.
Even says, wish I got to a season 7 of Discovery. That would have been nice.
Oh, yeah.
Same
Who knows
thing with
where they
Strange
would
New
have gone?
Worlds.
They kept taking big swings with that series, so
Well, and that's the thing. You're in the future. You can do so much.
yeah,
You could do so much without being beholden to certain time periods.
right.
So, and you have all of that history to actually play around in as well, and go back. You can bring things forward that never fully panned out. It's like, what would have happened if we had found out what happened to these people and see where they are in the future? Stuff
Right.
like that could have been interesting. But
Mhm.
sometimes
We might still.
we might still. Oh my God, I can't wait for you guys to see this. Anyway. Sorry. So we'll see you. Well, we won't see you. We'll talk to you next week. And sorry, this episode is so long, but there is a lot to get through and a
Well,
lot
it's
to
been a
talk
while since
about.
we talked about Discovery too. It's a little different when it's a series we've been talking about, but when we get back into Discovery, we kind of have to get back into the world of Discovery, and a lot of
Yeah.
that is some extra work on our part.
Yeah. So take care, folks. Be good to each other. Fight fascism. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Still up.
Still up.